These episodes are intended for mature audiences. Viewer and listener discretion advised.
I did not sign up for the subscription.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to cancel the membership. What? What do you mean? Like,
1
this
plus
my
1
whole
is
life,
not
and you
equaling
just-
2. Like, what?
Like, you're throwing, like, to me, they were throwing away my whole life. Like, through all those years, I felt like I didn't have a voice. So I know that I can't let fear paralyze me forever.
Yeah.
And just taking those small steps and just saying, okay, well, if the unknown does happen, I'll deal with it when it gets here.
Yeah.
And however I handle it, if I handle it in a wrong way, I know I handled it wrong that one time. So in the event that it does happen again, I can do better.
Yeah. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode on the podcast. Today we have Nica on the podcast. I've been following Nica on, social media and stuff, seeing her be very successful in life. So I'm excited to see how life is going, where she's at, and the advice that she has for you guys today and her sharing her story. Welcome to the podcast, Nica.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
Yes, thank you for coming on. So, first question, if you were 18 and graduating from high school, what advice would you give yourself?
I would tell myself to not allow others to dictate what I think and allow them to, I guess, control my mind. More so like on the parent aspect, not really friends, but on the parent aspect. And also, although you may have a passion when it comes to college, maybe pursue something that is needed, like truly needed. Because you might find your passion, and then once you get out of college, well, you can't find a good job. And now you're struggling, and now you done got your master's in something, you're like, oh, what am I about to do with this?
Yeah.
And now you question your whole life. So stick to your own path. Do not listen to what your parents say to an extent. A lot of our parents are old school and they have a lot of old school advice. Yeah. And that old school advice does not always fit in the world we have now. So just follow your own mind and don't allow people to just take control over. Have your own thoughts and follow your own path.
Okay, so how did you get to that mindset? Let the people know how you became a military brat, and how you came to who you are today. So start with where were you born at, and go from there.
Okay, so I was born in Belgium. Mm-hmm. So my dad was stationed in Belgium, and he met my mom, and they had me. And when I was 6, my dad got stationed back in the States, and I stayed behind with my mom until I was 18. So although I was the military brat, I wasn't the military brat that everybody else was. Yeah. I was the one that I had to see everybody come and go. I wasn't the one that had to come and go. I was staying and oh, here's a new person. You get close to them and, oh, they're leaving, but I'm still right here. So once I left Belgium, I moved to the States and I lived with my dad, and that was a tough transition. That was a tough transition.
Why was that?
Because my mom, in Belgium, it's safe. You don't have a lot of the worries that you have in the States. And so, my mom was like, it's safe over here. She let me have my independence. We could go downtown to the bars on the weekend and Mons and go to the club with our friends. and take like a train to Paris or a bus to Brussels or like, whatever the case was. And then when I got here, my dad being in the military was like you gonna follow these rules. And I didn't have no independence at that point. And, coming up, I was a good kid.
Yeah.
And so once I got to my dad and like he's, taking my independence away and he's super strict. Well, now I'm starting to I guess in his eyes, I would act up, but I wasn't. It was just, I'm living what I've been living for 18 years.
Yeah.
And so that shift was tough. And so in those years,
did you visit your dad growing up at all?
I did. So I would visit him during the summers.
Okay.
But that's a whole different thing to like moving. Cause like, when you're here and you're just here for 2 months, he just wants to like take you places and have fun with you. And it's like, he don't want to be like the super strict parent. So we're just here to have fun and, go to summer camp and go to the amusement parks and spend time with your family. But living with him.
When you moved back, did you think that was like going to be the same case? Like, oh, it's going to be kind of like the summers where like we just had fun. And then like you come up and it's like, oh no, this is a completely different father than I know.
I knew the dad I had. I have a great dad.
Yeah.
I think I've always thought I had a great dad. It's easier now, but when I was younger, we get annoyed by everything our parents do.
Yeah.
And so I knew the dad I had, but I didn't know it was going to be to like that extent.
Gotcha.
Like he was like very strict, and the mindset he had when I was, because like once you're 18, like you really start to like discover who you are. And you're trying to find your own path. And that's where like your mindset is starting to shift. Your mindset is starting to form. And now you're trying to like become an adult. And so his mindset was pushed onto me.
Okay.
And now as an adult, almost 30, his mindset is still stuck with me. And I don't like it. And I struggle with it a lot.
Okay. What is that mindset that you're talking about?
It's my dad being very old school was not a risk taker.
Okay.
Like he's a very like play it safe type of person. And he also had the mindset of like, don't really put your trust in people. And so now that I'm older and my career isn't working for me the way I want it to, I'm trying to branch off. I'm trying to like build businesses and I'm trying to get into certain things that I know could make it work for me being self-employed.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, don't do that because what if this happens? What if that happens? And a lot of the what if I get it, but what if it doesn't?
Yeah.
And so I'm operating still in a place of fear. And I don't take chances. And like, imagine if Steve Jobs never took a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine if Bezos never took a chance because their parents was like, don't do that. You might fail. And so recently I've been talking to my dad about this business I want to get in. And he was like, he's like, there's a lot of risk in that. Don't do it because what if? Yeah. But then in the same breath, he knows someone else. He knows a couple people actually who are doing it. He's like, oh, they're doing great. They're doing so good. And I'm like, didn't you just tell me to not do it just in case it doesn't work out? Yeah. And so I know it's more so him trying to protect me. But that mindset has caused me a lot of problems. Yeah.
Have you guys you haven't sat down and been like, this is a new world, Dad. Like, we aren't living in what you grew up in, which made sense. Get a job, easily get a house from that. But now we're in this new world where you kind of need your own thing going on and
Right.
a couple of those things going on for you to, have the life that they had or more than that, So no.
Yep. No. Coming up, like once I moved here and that shift with my dad, the way he would discipline me, it may have not been his intention, but his intention doesn't dictate how I feel. And so how I took it was I didn't have a voice. Like if he tried to discipline me, I couldn't say nothing about it. Cause black parents.
Yeah.
You better not say nothing bad.
It is
And
what
so,
it is.
like, you better take what I'm saying and hush. Go to your room and cry about it. Something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, like, through all those years, I felt like I didn't have a voice. And so now I do not have that comfortability to talk to my dad about these types of things. But it's also made it to where I feel like I can't talk to anybody about things. And so sadly, I associate conflict with like something terrible is going to happen. So I can't say nothing.
Yeah.
So like with my partner and I, if we get in a conflict, the first thing I do is I shut down. I will shut up. I won't say anything. And with him, he's like, you have to talk to me. And I'm just like, I ain't talking. Like, I could really be mad for like 2 business days. And he just gets over it. And I feel like me feeling like I don't have a voice, I don't speak up on a lot of things. I let a lot of things slide. And with my dad, I do wish that I could talk to him, but there's been some times where I've tried and the response I get isn't the response I want. And so it's like, you know what? I'm just going to stay silent. And so, yeah, no, we haven't talked. And, when I went to therapy, because I was telling her, like, about a lot of the things I was going through and how when I thought about it, a lot of things that I dealt with, a lot of the ways that I felt, a lot of ways that I would think, it came back to him.
Wow.
And she said, well, one of the exercises is going to be for you to tell him how you feel. I was like, get somebody else to do it.
Can we have somebody a segue?
Return to I can't do this.
She needs a mediator.
Yeah, we can't do this. And so, yeah.
Do you
so
think
even at almost 30, I still feel like I can't like talk. And so it also makes me struggle with authority in a way. And so now that's bad for me because now I have a shop and I have people who work for me in that shop, but now I'm your boss. But I struggle with authority. And so now when like it's time for me to handle things or like I have to handle the difficult things, I can't do it. I struggle really bad.
How are you trying to find your voice so you can deal with those situations better?
I really have to talk to myself.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of times I will sit here and I will talk out loud and like try to play out scenarios of like, okay, if I say this and they might say that, then this might be your response. And so I have to play out different conversations because like recently there was someone that I was gonna have to fire. And boy, I was like, how do I do this? Like, what do I say? I don't know how to handle this.
Yeah.
But thankfully, like, we were kind of like butting heads real bad towards the end to where he just quit. I was like, thank God. I was like, thank God. I do not have to do this.
do you think like a little bit of it, like, I don't know, it just sounds like, yes, like your dad had the part in it, but do you think like a little bit, do you care like if people like you or not? Like, do you think that has anything to do with why it's kind of difficult to have those type of conversations?
I don't really care.
Yeah.
If someone likes me or not, and
Yeah.
I think
you've always been that way though. I'm just like you know.
Like if you like me, you like me. If you don't, then I mean, I'm not gonna cry about it.
Yeah.
But like the people I hold close to me, you better stay right here. You better love me forever. We're stuck together. Like I care about those, but like randoms, I don't.
Got you.
People come and go, you know.
Yeah, it's true. That's so true.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting because I remember growing up, like you had that voice, you would speak your mind all the time, and so how do you get that? How do you get back to that person? Because that's a whole shift. It's been what 11 years since then. So yeah, how do you get back to that person that you were?
It's tough. I'm trying. I'm slowly getting better. Like, let's say, like my partner and I, we have like a little argument. Mm-hmm. I slowly learn to speak. Now, the thing is, when it comes to speaking up, I don't have the problem in writing. Because, you know, when I would go through it with my dad, I'm venting to friends, but because I'm in the house, I can't speak it. But I can write it because I'm texting my friends. And so I can say everything that's on my mind in writing. But the moment you ask me to say it, I can't do it. I can't do it because I take it as almost like an attack. I take it as conflict. Because depending on what you say, I'm just going to shut back down. So getting back to that it's so hard. But I'm slowly trying to get there.
Yeah. Did your therapist suggest like talking to your like younger self, that 18-year-old, and be like, hey, like I get and understand why you became this person and got into this like this habit of just kind of shutting down, but it's not necessary anymore. Like we need to move through this, push through this because it's time for us to speak up. It's time for us to find our own voice. Because I do remember I kind of had to do that for myself with my dad. I finally I didn't explode, but I was just like, dude, like you weren't the dad I needed. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, you just weren't the dad I needed growing up. And he was like, well, I was the dad that I learned how to be. And I was like, well, if somebody would have told me that when we were kids, things might have been different. Yeah. And so we finally had that whole conversation, and our relationship has changed, which has forced me to change and kind of speak to whenever he stopped coming to visit in Europe. I think I was like 8. I was like, I had to speak to my 8-year-old self and be like, look, like it's okay. We don't have to be, and it sounds like you're in survival mode now. We don't have to be in survival mode. Yeah. You don't have to be in that anymore. Like you can open up and trust and know that whoever you're sharing it with is going to be there tomorrow, So I've had to learn that over the last couple of years. And you're right. It is a struggle. It's a day by day talking to yourself, grow, learning. I just wanted to know like how you were doing that, like what strategies you had to getting back to that 18-year-old girl that, I knew and was like, what's up? I don't care what you think. I don't care what you say.
What we gonna say?
Exactly. And we gonna, conflict might be there, but
we gonna do it.
Exactly. We gonna deal with it. Because I remember that, Nica. I remember her. So how are we getting back to her?
I really want to get back into therapy. Okay, but the therapist I had out of pocket. And that got expensive. So I was like, I'm just going to back off of that. But I know that I'm going to have to get back into it because I know I can't be like this forever. Because at some point I'm going to have kids. What am I going to do when they do something bad? I'm just going to like, oh, okay. All right. But I can't do that. And, like, we're about to be 30. And to myself, I just like, grow up. Like, come on now. Stop doing this. But
the good thing though is you don't have to have everything figured out by 30.
No.
Like, I know. I think, but isn't that so weird? Like we grew up thinking like by 30 we gotta straight
25.
Up.
We're gonna have it all together.
Yeah.
25. Okay. 25 is gonna be it.
Then like COVID hit like 2 years after that, and it's like, God.
Yes.
What is life
Yep.
and what is this? Oh man. So it's so insane how when we were growing up, like you said, like who wants to be an adult now? Like who? What? But
This is
growing up,
ghetto.
we were
I have to pay bills. Not to do this every month.
monthly
Is this
thing.
not just like a one-time fee? Please.
A
I did
yearly
not sign up for the
thing.
subscription.
I don't want to do this anymore.
I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to cancel the membership.
For real, nobody. We weren't ready. We weren't ready.
No.
So
But
how are you? How are you preparing yourself now? Like you said, like you're a couple months away from 30. Like, how are you preparing for that transition into what's coming next?
I'm trying to not operate in my fear mindset anymore.
Yeah.
But that is tough when I constantly have the reminder. Because my dad's like, he's in the same city I'm in. And so I'm trying to separate the things I do from him. Like, I've learned that to kind of get away initially from the fear, I cannot tell him before I do something. Like, when I got this shop, I did it, and he found out from someone else. I did not tell him. And so I have to learn my boundaries a little better with him. But that's just so hard to speak on because I don't have it in me. And I also feel like he didn't realize what he was doing. And so something I heard was stop looking at your parents as your mom and your dad and just look at them as like any other adult.
Yeah,
like,
you gotta do
they
it.
did what they could. They did what they knew. But I know I have to separate myself from that, but he's so strongly opinionated. He got something to say all the time.
Yeah.
And I just have to learn to become my own person without operating in the fear and the worries, because I worry and I overthink about everything.
Wow.
There isn't one single thing I don't overthink about.
Wow.
And so I struggle with that. And it gets to a point where it affects like my relationship. Not bad, but he's like, babe, just do it.
Yeah.
Stop overthinking. And it's like,
yeah.
But now I gotta think about what you just said.
I gotta stop overthinking. What are you talking about?
Like, what are we talking about? But now how I'm gonna do this? Like, what am I doing? But it's I know I have to let go of like a lot of things that have happened in the past, things that happened with my dad, things that he thinks, and I just have to be my own person and not worry so much about what he's going to say, because that is what holds me back from so many things. I don't care what anybody else got to say, but I know that what he's going to say, it's going to throw a little something in there for me that it's like, well, here we go. So
how, because when you were a kid, your mom raised you. How did she raise you in a way for you to be the opinionated, open, face the world type of woman that you truly are? We're not going to talk about this survival mode. That truly are.
I wouldn't say that really came from her. I got more of like my independence from her allowing me to, just roam free because it was safe.
Yeah.
But the independence I have, I mean, I can't help it. It comes from trauma. It comes from trauma. Like before, like I had a relationship in 2018. That's what did it for me. That's where like my hyper independence came from.
Got you.
And so I know a lot of people be like, oh, well, I just became independent because, my mother did this and my dad did this. But no, mine came from trauma. I feel like I had no choice. Like, oh, you did this to me. I have to make sure I'm straight by myself. I cannot depend on you for anything. I don't ask for help. So I don't want to be independent that much, but I feel like I have to.
Yeah.
Because that's something me and my partner, we struggle with, because he is he's a provider. Like, he's the type of man that's going to say, quit your job. If you're not happy, that will take care of you. Yeah. And I'm going to quit my job. Let me think about this real quick. I was like, let me think about this. He's like, you overthinking? I'm like, let me think about this.
Yeah.
And so we struggle with that because him being such a provider and me being so independent, it does not go together. And he's like, at some point, you're going to have to trust me to lead you, to be here for you, to take care of you. And I'm just like, can you do that?
How do you, like, what ways are you looking to try to do it? The art, like, because obviously you love him, you want to be with him, and you want to have that trust. So how are you separating him from the past, right? Because, like, he's not the guy in the past.
Completely different.
You know? So what are you like, okay, well, he's doing this for me, and this is not what the other person did, and I have to, how are you healing from that? Because obviously it comes with the relationship and the damage of the past. So how are you healing so that you can eventually be like, you know what? I trust you. I believe you. You may not quit your job, obviously, but I am going to trust you to lead our life together.
Yeah. So, that's been a struggle. I'm slowly starting to we've been together for 3 years, and I'm just now starting to get the click where it's getting to where I feel like I can fully trust him with what I feel. Mm-hmm. And I know he's taking care of that. So, like, now that you've checked off that box, now I can move to something else. So now it's like, if something goes wrong, I can call you. And I can depend on you for that.
That's good.
Pay my bills. I can depend on you for that. And so I can't just jump all in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm overthink too much about that. I got to think about A through Z. I have to think about it all. But I know it's something I have to do. Because if I don't do it, I know with certain men, they're like, look, you're not trusting me. You don't like want to believe in me that I can provide for you. I'm going to go find a woman who does. Yeah. And so it's kind of, it's forcing me. But I'm happy that it's forcing me. Yeah. Because I know it's a change. I know I need to trust in somebody to be there and trust that because they're doing something for me, it doesn't mean they need something in return. Yeah. Because that's where a lot of my no longer asking for help comes from. Yeah. Because I used to like ask for help and they're like, okay, well, I did this for you, so you need to do this for me. And it's like, I'll just figure it out.
Yeah. You're learning love isn't transactional.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just...
And, like, for the first time, it's hard. It's a hard transition. Yeah. It's really hard.
Yeah. So, in this, like, you're learning that love isn't transactional and it's given, like, what ways is he showing you that he's just giving you love? Because I know there's plenty of people out there who are like, no, I love, like, if you give this, I give this. When love truly is, like, it's just giving. You're not expecting anything back. So in what ways is he showing you that this is real? This is, I'm going to be here step by step. I respect you. I love you. And I don't want to be anywhere else but with you.
Yeah. There's been some things that I've brought to him that for anyone else would have been like, well, I'm about to go. He's like, I love you. I want to be here with you. I don't care what we go through. And to just have someone who's like there through it all and they're patient with you and they listen to you, it's really just like those smaller things that I've never had. So, I mean, it could just be blindness, but I don't think it is. Yeah. And I'm trying to get out that survival mode where it's like, whoa, are you doing this because, like, at the end of the day, there might be, like, some kind of secret motive? Or are you doing this genuinely? Yeah. And so I haven't had any feeling yet that it's not genuine. That's good. Because, like, you're patient and you listen and you're there. And, I mean, he was my best friend for 7 years before we got together. And nothing has changed. And so it feels genuine. it doesn't feel forced. It's not like I'm doing this for you because I have to do it because we're together.
Yeah.
It's like I just genuinely want to do this for you.
That's good. That's really good. So it sounds like the reassurance isn't like, it's not a necessity. It feels like it's a way of, I don't know how to, I want to say appreciation. Like the reassurance is appreciation for you and for you to be able to be in the relationship and start to heal from past things and walk into this relationship that you guys are trying to create together. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. So crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
We've gotten to your personal life. Let's talk about the professional life.
Okay.
So you graduated from college. What did you graduate with? Hey guys. We are on air. I know, right? So cool to have this. But I interrupt this podcast to ask you guys to please follow us on all of our social media sites. We have Instagram, YouTube, the podcast on anywhere you get your podcast. And please share and like this episode and comment if this episode has affected you in any way. Because the more you comment, the more you like, the more you share, the more people we reach. And the more people we reach means the more the story of mental health and military brats change. So please go and follow us on all of these websites, and please share it with whoever and whomever you believe these stories will help change. Because I know that all of these stories thus far has already helped change my life. So again, I thank you guys for watching. And please like, share, comment, and follow us on all of our social media platforms.
I graduated with my bachelor's in healthcare administration.
Okay. All right. Doing anything with that?
No.
Okay. Master's.
And then I got my master's in it too.
Okay.
I'm not doing nothing with it. That's why I was like in the beginning, I was like, choose what you want to do and choose something that like makes sense.
Yeah.
Because although this can be good, I should have gone into like IT or something. So I feel like my degree was a waste at the moment. Yeah. But hey.
What at 18 made you choose healthcare and stuff?
So I originally wanted to go to school for nursing.
Got you.
And so there's like a little community college here where I took all my prereqs. And
smart move. Guys, go to community college. So smart.
It's so much cheaper.
It is.
Like, why would I go to a 4-year school when it's like double the price? I'm just going to get the prereqs out the way at this community college. And I transferred to Lander.
Got you.
For nursing. And so they accepted me into the program. I did 1 semester. At the end of that 1 semester, they said, oh, you failed a math class 2 years ago at your community college. You can't stay in this program.
What?
I was like, what? What do you mean? Like,
1 plus 1 is not equaling 2. Like, what?
Like, you're throwing, like, to me, they were throwing away my whole life.
Yeah.
Like, because nursing was what I wanted for so long. And so I was like, well, if I can be a nurse, then let me like try to stay still in the healthcare field. And so to me, the only other option was like the admin side of it. And so I just pivoted into like the healthcare administration. But I wish I didn't.
Did you ever feel like, it sounds like that was kind of the first time conflict came and you kind of just switched. You went from nursing to, okay, well, whatever, like, here's administration. You don't, like, your voice was kind of taken in that moment.
Yep.
What would you do going back? Like, would you be like, no, I'm going to nursing. Like, this is what I want to do. Would you switch schools?
I could have switched schools, but I would have had to move to a different state for a different program because the requirements for the other schools in my state, it was like they had like the year-long waiting list. And it's like, what am I going to do until, like, what if I don't even get accepted? And I've waited all the time. So I was like, you know what? I just need to get this done. And so I'm happy I didn't get to stay in nursing school, because now it's like I'm fine without that.
Gotcha.
But I still wish that I had taken a different route in college, because I could have gone into something that would have almost got me something guaranteed straight out of college. Because IT is like a growing world right now.
Yeah.
And I could have been better suited there.
What got you interested in IT? Like,
I mean, computers, and I mean, I work on a computer literally all day. And so, you know, like running a business and, you know, the back end of things and processes and making things like move smoother. It was another field that I could have gone into. But I didn't think about that until this year.
Okay.
But going back to school now, you can pay me.
Oh, yeah. I understand.
Pay me.
No. No. Who wants to do that, dude? Like, learn everything on YouTube. Like,
seriously, get on TikTok or something. How to?
Yeah, how to. That's all you need. You really don't need school. I'm sorry. Sorry, parents out there.
You
but
really don't.
It's not.
You really don't.
It's not as necessary as it used to be. I just forgot the question I was about to ask. Oh, how did you become a boss? Yeah, how did you become a boss? Because risk adverse, right? Like you're and now all of a sudden you're the boss.
So I started my first business, which is my credit business. It was fresh out of my relationship, and I just wanted something to occupy my time. And so I just started like reading into things, and I had already loved credit, but I ain't do nothing with it. And so I was like, you know what? I kept seeing people online talking about something. Well, I got bad credit. Who can help me with it? Who can help me with this? Who can help me with that? And I was like, let me give it a try. And so credit wasn't like a risk, because it's nothing that requires me to have a storefront. I can, God forbid, I can shut this down at any time and decide I don't want to do it no more. It's just something I'm doing from a computer, and I'm helping all these people. So eventually, that being like in like the financial area, I ran into someone who was doing taxes. And I was like, well, that's in the financial area. And I was like, I do want to learn that, because I know at some point in time I'm going to want to be self-employed, and I want to be able to like know the little loopholes and stuff for taxes and know how to do it. And, you know, that's extra money during tax time, because everybody needs their taxes done.
Yep. And
so I was taking the safer routes for businesses. I didn't get this shop until I got with my partner, because he's a risk taker. It's a little scary.
Yeah.
It's a little scary. I can't do what he does. He's like the type of person that's like, quit your job today, because it's going to like kick you into overdrive and figure something out in your business. And I'm like, let me think about that. Let me think about that.
That is the catchphrase of today. Let me think about that.
Let me think about that. And so it's pushed me into wanting to work for myself, because by next year, I hope, pray to God, I hope that I can quit this job, because I am unhappy in my job. I hate, and if anybody who works in my job sees this, I said what I said. I hate my job. I hate my job. And I'm not happy. And so there's so many people out here who are self-employed, who are doing so much better than I am. And I'm just tied to a job. And they have of course, there's so much more that goes into like having a business. Yeah. Like, you have all this time you have to give, all this work you got to put in, but to me, it's worth it. Like, I built this, I did this, and I'm not building someone else's dream. I'm building my own. And so I have that mindset now where I don't want to be tied to just working this dead end job until I retire. When I could be doing this, feeling fulfilled, probably making more money, have more freedom. I can go travel.
Yep.
Like it expands your mind so much more being a business owner, because now you really have to dig, you got to research, you have to learn. Like you have so many more things to do. And so that's really what has pushed me more into becoming a boss now. Is I'm slowly getting away from my fear, because if it was up to me with it was up to me with the shop. But if I didn't have him by my side to be like, do it, you will be just fine, just do it, I wouldn't have this. So I'm trying to get away from that fear. And the next thing I'm trying to do, that's gonna be a lot. But of course, because I have my dad in my ear saying don't do it. You know, I'm like half and half.
You got the, it's like the angel and the devil.
Yeah,
in a
literally.
way. Yeah.
Literally.
But it's good because it seems like you're trying to get into that abundance mindset, because
I'm trying.
You know, with anything, even a job, like a job isn't secure. You can get fired at any time. It can be taken from you at any time. So to have something else going on, to have your own thing and kind of be in control of it. Like obviously, like, you know, random things happen sometimes, but for the most part, you know, that's in your hands. And then you just trust the rest to God, like period, point blank, trust the rest to God. So getting into that abundance mindset, it seems like the small risks that you take along or taking every day is really pushing the fear out. So what are the inner voices that you're ignoring right now to keep you in that abundance mindset?
The voice of like, you can't do it. The voice of what if. Like that voice is present with everything I do. What if? But like I try to, that's so tough though, because I've only started like having a business for like the last like 2-3 years. But I've operated in a what if mindset for much longer than 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And so trying to push that out, it's like with slow things, like just take a steps. Like, okay, I'm kind of scared to do this. And my mind's like, what if? Let me think about it. And so I'm like, just do it. And so I'll take a small step. And so I know that for me, I look at the end, but I need to put like all my steps, like very, very little steps in between, so that eventually it can get me there.
Yeah.
Because if not, I will stay paralyzed in fear and I will not do anything.
Have you ever thought of like using your what if mindset to say, what if this is successful? Like instead of saying like, what if it is a failure, like writing out, if this is successful, like this is what's going to happen. And then kind of working off of that.
I've tried, but then it comes back and it's like, what if it's not?
Yeah.
Because like, I wish I could go to my dad and give him my ideas, but I just know, what if? Don't do that, because what if? And so I know I need to shift my mindset, because the mindset that in my mind was instilled in me, it's like a very negative mindset. And it causes like me to be that way with everything. And I don't like it. But it's so hard to escape from when it's really every day.
Yeah. And
so
it's
like, how
safe.
do I stay? Exactly. And it's like, if I don't, like, having no control and not knowing what, paralyzes me. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Okay. If you can't, like, what ways daily do you kind of put yourself in an unknown situation to kind of be like,
I don't put myself too much in the unknown. Like, if I don't know, I'm just gonna leave you. You already know what I'm gonna say. Let me think about it. But like, my life is pretty routine. I don't like that. Like, I'll go to work and I'll come home and I'll work on some business stuff, or I'll go out and do like Instacart or something. But outside of that,
And I mean, I get it. You know, like life is pretty much routine. But I mean, life is majority unknown. Like, you don't know where
Yep.
you're going to be in 10 years. You don't know where you're going to be in 5 years. So like,
Mm-hmm.
you got to learn how to embrace it. So like, I'm
Yep.
just wondering, like, how are you going to do that? Because you like the plans. How do you embrace because that's what you're doing. Once you do
Yeah.
quit that job and you
What is
focus
going
on it, it's completely unknown. And is your mindset going to be ready to stick to it, right?
That's what I'm trying to get it to. Because if it was right now, quit my job and do what? Oh, no. I can't do it. But I know I'm going to have to shift. I have no choice. I literally have no choice. Because if I don't do it, it's just not going to get done.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
I know that I can't let fear paralyze me forever.
Yeah.
And just taking those small steps and just saying, okay, well, if the unknown does happen, I'll deal with it when it gets here.
Yeah.
And however I handle it, if I handle it in a wrong way, I know I handled it wrong that one time. So in the event that it does happen again, I can do better.
Yeah. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Lesson learned. I'm going to ask you a very particular question. So you said your dad, like, your therapist said, like, you need to sit down and have a conversation with your dad, right? You're like, nah, it's not happening. Get somebody else to do it. But have you ever thought, because you said writing it out, you've written it out to your friends and stuff. Have you ever thought of writing a letter and just giving it to him and being like, here, I need you to read this, and seeing what he comes back with?
I have, but it's what he's going to say in response.
That stopping you.
Yeah.
What is that fear of his response to it? Because, you've been doing things and his response has, been who your dad is, which is like, stay in the safe zone and stuff like that. So why is that fear stopping you in writing this letter or getting it out to him?
Because a lot of the things that he may respond, he may not know that this is how I feel. And I fear that if he responds in a way that I don't want to really say, like, tries to justify it, like, that might piss me off a little more. Because, like, I'm telling you how I feel, and you're like, well, I did this because of this. And it's like, that, regardless of what you did it for, like, this is still how it made me feel. So I know that if I was to write that letter, a conversation would have to follow after that.
Yeah.
And I'm still not ready for that.
Yeah.
And he still kind of like treats me like his little girl. And so it still keeps me trapped in a way. Even though, like, I've bought my own house, I paid off my own car, I have my own businesses, I have a decent job, he still, like, trapped me, like, in that bubble. And to him, I have a hard time, like, speaking up and telling him, like, no. Like, I'm not a little girl anymore. Like, stop doing this to me.
Yeah.
And it's just how he is. Like, he's always going to have that, like, I know it's just a protection mindset for him, but I don't always receive it that way.
Yeah, I understand. Therapy together, to have a mediator, to help him. Oh, that's a negative. Okay, gotcha. I got it.
I mean, it could work, but it's like at the same time, I don't want to upset my dad. Because, like, to him, he may have no idea this is how I feel. And if I tell him, he might be like, dang, I failed her. And I don't want him to feel that way. So I carry it versus, here you go.
But you carrying it's that's hard, because you carrying it is in ways chipping at your relationship, right? And so it's like, Danica, you got to tell him. I know it's like that, but you got, and I always say, like, start off like, because for me, it was with my mom. Like, she's very, like, you've met my mom and stuff. So, and I always told her, like, I just remember being like, Mom, I love you, and you're amazing. You're an amazing mom. You did awesome. And at the same time, there were times where you made me feel this way, and I know it may not have been your intention, but you made me feel this way. And she goes, oh, I didn't mean it like that. And I was like, I know. She's like, I was just, and then she tells me her mindset in that moment, and we have this conversation, and it brings us closer. Maybe it is something where, like, she tries to justify it's happened.
Yeah.
But we go through that rough patch, and I'd be like, I get it, Mom, I understand, but this is how it made me feel. And she's like, okay, I understand. Now I can do better, you know, for us to have a better relationship. Same with my dad as well. And I understand the unknown of the rough patch. Like, how long is it going to be?
Yeah.
Is it ever going to be resolved? All these different things that are running through your mind. But sometimes you just have to do it. And even if it's just one situation at a time, it doesn't have to be everything at once. Just want to be like, yo, I remember this situation and it just made me feel like this, Dad. And I love you and I appreciate you looking out for me. At the same time, I want your support. I want you to support me in what I'm doing because you're my dad. And I want you to be proud of what I'm doing and everything else like that. So, and maybe, those little things might be like, it just kind of click in his head to be like, oh, maybe I am kind of pushing who I am onto my daughter. And maybe I do need to do a little bit of a shift to make our relationship better and for her to come to me more, just little by little so he can start to hear you and do those things. Like, I understand why not. It just seems, it seems easier to hold it on yourself. But it seems like also it's you're holding on to that fear mindset at the same time as you're holding on to that. So it's an eventual conversation, girl. I'm here for you. If you need anything, I'm here to talk because I completely
I'm
understand.
already just thinking about it.
I get it. I completely understand. And it's funny because for me, it was the hardest with my mom. With my dad, because, we only saw each other in the summer, I think it was easier to kind of get that out. But because I'm so close with my mom, it's like, crap, like, I can't lose my best friend. Like, I can't do that. So, but I didn't. I learned, like, oh, snap. We're closer now. We understand each other better. And so, because I want you to thrive, and I want you to thrive in the businesses that you've created. So it's just taking that one small step at a time, like you said, small step at a time for you guys to get into better spirits with each other.
Yeah, because it's not like our relationship isn't bad.
No, yeah.
But in the background of my mind, I always remember, like, if I tell you this, you're going to do this. And he's been this way for so long. I mean, once you've been away for so long, it's kind of hard to break out of that. And, I mean, he's so old school. He has such an old school mindset. And I know there's probably no changing that, but I know at some point in time, we'll have to talk about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like he won't stop, like, little girling me until I have a kid of my own.
Probably not even then.
Probably not.
Nah. You're always going to be his little girl. It's just going to be an extra child along with it.
Oh, Lord. First, let me think about it.
I understand. Get it. Write it down. All that good stuff.
Let me think about it. Oh, my God.
Last question, girl. You ready?
Yep.
Because you always got something planned out. So, this should be an easy question. 5 years, where do you see yourself?
In 5 years, I would like to have my own home health care agency opened up to where I'm contracting out, like, nurses and CNAs to go out and help with, like, the elderly. So I'm trying to get into, like, that long-term care industry because everybody getting old.
Oh yeah.
Everybody needs some care. So
yes.
it's still kind of like staying like my health field because I always wanted nursing, but it didn't work out. So it's still in my area, and that's really what I want to do next.
Okay. Like how many kids in the future? Are you thinking kids within those time? Marriage in that time?
I'm sure I will be married by then.
That's good.
Almost very sure. And probably like a kid like the next year or two.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
That's good. That's awesome. That's really good.
I'm ready.
Yeah. I'm glad you're ready.
I'm glad you're ready, but for me, not quite.
No. No. I'm sorry. Yes, I've been told millions of times. When you're gonna have a grandkid, I'm not getting any younger. Yeah, that's true. You're not getting any younger. I'm not getting any younger either. I mean, that's life.
Nope. But I'm at the age I think I'm ready to have a kid for sure.
That's good. I'm so excited for you, girl. I'm excited for your business.
Thank you.
And your businesses and where you're going in life. And, stay in touch, keep in contact. I've been following you on your social media. I just and be like, oh, look at Nica. She's doing so great. Like, that's what I do. I'll be like, she's doing so great. Like it, girl, keep it going. Like, but this time, yeah. I'm going to be like, hey, girl, how you doing? What's up?
How you doing? What you doing?
Exactly. Like, now that we've fully reconnected, definitely. Yes.
Sure.
But thank you for being on the podcast. Thank you for sharing your story. It's, again, amazing to reconnect, have this conversation. Yes, it has been a long time. And so to learn new things about you, I'm grateful and thankful that you're back in my life. And
thank you for having me.
Of course.
This was fun. I was nervous. I was real nervous. But this was fun.
But you did great. Exactly. Yeah. Like, I don't understand. I never understand. I was like, I'm so nervous. It's literally just a conversation. No. It's fun now.
Kind of. I'm going to have to think about it.
Don't think about it. It's going to be good. People are going to like it. But to end it out, guys, let's think about that.
Yeah, let's think about it.
All right, guys. I will see you guys in the next episode. Oh, man. It's going to be a good one. And y'all continue to have an amazing day. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it is. Go out, get out of your fear mindset and into your abundance mindset.
Don't think about it too much.
Yeah, don't think about it. Let's think about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. There are a ton more tea time episodes as well as stories that are going to be shared on this podcast to come. So please like and subscribe or follow down below. And I will see you all next Military Brat Monday. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I am so excited to continue this journey with all of you.